Hello, my name is Summer with Summerly Design Co. and I am an obsessive sock knitter and I design sock knitting patterns and write books about sock knitting. And this week I've got 2 socks to show you and I'm really excited about both of them. It's almost November. This video will be airing on October 31st on Halloween, but the November chart pages for Cuff Club are out. I released them today, so check your inbox, check your email, check your Ravelry. You've got the chart pages and I'm gonna show you the socks and give you a little tutorial too on how to knit one of the stitches. So let's get started. So for November, I knew I wanted 2 chart pages. I wanted a colorwork and I wanted a texture. And so that is what I did. And I'm very, very happy with how both of them turned out. We did some cool techniques this month. So the first sock, so pretty. I absolutely love how this one came out. So we'll talk about the texture in a minute, but for now, let's talk about the body of this sock and how pretty that fabric is. And this fabric was created by doing helical knitting with 2 different fingering weight yarn strands. So I'm going to show you the yarn that I used. I used a speckled and variegated skein. This is from Casual Fashion Queen, and I have had this in my stash for like 4 years. I have no idea what the name of this color is or if she even still dyes this color. I'm gonna research that and I'll pop it, down here somewhere and let you know if I find out. But this is my speckled and variegated skein, and I alternated rows with this really, really light pale pink. And so together, that's quite a nice contrast, these 2, and the end result looks so good. Very, very happy with how that turned out. So helical knitting is basically you're knitting 1 round of each color. So I've got a round of the variegated followed by a round of the solid. And because when you knit, it looks like you're knitting in a circle, but you're not. You're knitting in a helix. So helical knitting is a way of knitting in a spiral so that you don't get a jog whenever you switch colors. If I were to just knit this normally and not do it helical style, then I would have a really unsightly jog all the way down the side of the sock whenever I changed colors at the beginning of each round. I am going to include a link to a fantastic helical knitting tutorial by Denise DeSantis, also known as Earth Tones Girl. She made such a great tutorial on how to knit socks using helical knitting. So I'm gonna link that below. That way you can watch her tutorial if you're not familiar with it. And if you wanna do this beautiful style of knitting to create such a cool, interesting fabric, you can. And you don't have to do it with like variegated and speckled. You can do like 2 different solid colors if you want. You could do 2 different variegated colors if you want. There's so many options for creativity with helical knitting, so you can kind of do it how you want, but I think it creates such a cool fabric when you mix a variegated and speckled skein with a solid, especially when the colors contrast really well. This is a very light color. This is a very deep, kind of darker, saturated color. So the end result, it's just really beautiful and really, really cool. Really love how that turned out. It looks so good. Now let's talk about the texture. This is, oh my gosh, I love this so much. Such a cool texture for the cuff of the sock. So happy with how this turned out. It looks complicated to make. It's really not. This is called a dip stitch. It's a really cool stitch, makes a really pretty cuff. And I am now going to show you how to do it because the instructions in the chart page written out, you should be good to go, but sometimes it kind of helps to see it for a stitch like this if you've never done it before. So let's take a look at how you knit the dip stitch. All right, so let's go ahead and make a dip stitch. And again, this is all outlined in the chart page and I'm just gonna show you what you do. So we've got 3 stitches, 3 knit stitches followed by a purl stitch. And so what we're gonna do when we come to our 3 knit stitches, we are going to insert our right needle into the 4th stitch down on the 2nd knit stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3 knit stitches. We're going to focus on this second knit stitch. You're just going to insert your needle in the middle of that stitch. You're going to go as if to knit, and you're going to pull it through. And you don't want to pull it too tight. You just want to have it nice and loose there. Next, we are going to knit those 3 knit stitches. And now we are going to insert our right needle into that same stitch that we did before. And you kind of use your fingers to manipulate it, you know, kind of pull it so you can get to it. Knit again and pull it out. And as you can see, we had 3 knit stitches. We had 3 stitches on our needle. Now we've got 5 because we've got these extra loops that we pulled. I'm going to go ahead and finish working this first round, and then I'll come back and show you what we do on the second round. All right, I've now finished the first round of instructions to make the dip stitch, and I'm now working on the second round. This round is really easy. So now we come to our cluster. We've got our 2 new loops that we made the last round, and then we've got our original 3 knit stitches in the middle. So you are just going to, when you come to your first loop, you're going to slip it purlwise. You are going to knit those 3 stitches. And when you come to the second loop, you are going to slip it purlwise. And that's it for the second round. That's all you have to do. So now here we are again. I slip that first loop purlwise, knit 3, and then slip the second loop purlwise. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and then I will show you the third and final round in making a dip stitch. All right, now I'm on the third round of instructions for the dip stitch. And so I'm going to show you what we're going to do there. We started out with 3 knit stitches in our little cluster, and then we added 2 to each cluster. So now each cluster has 5 stitches, and that's too many stitches. So now we're going to be getting rid of some of them. So we approach our first cluster of 5, and we are going to slip knit the first 2. Then you're going to knit 1, the one in the middle, and then you're going to knit 2 together. And now, instead of 2 loops and 3 stitches, we've just got 3 regular stitches again, just like what we started out with. And then we've got our cute, these look like little wheat stalks to me. So let's do that again. We have now approached our cluster of 5, our loops and our knit stitches. We're going to slip, slip, knit. We're going to knit 1, and we're going to knit 2 together. And now we have 3 stitches in our cluster again. And those are the 3 fiddliest rounds in the pattern. There are obviously more rounds to create this. Whenever we're talking about this, there are more rounds to create this. Every round is written out in your chart page and detailed, so make sure to read that thoroughly, because it's not just these 3 rounds I showed you. Those were just the ones that, you know, required maybe a little extra instruction if you needed it, being able to see how I did it. But all the rounds to create this pattern are in your November Cuff Club chart page. So make sure to read it thoroughly before you go through, but it's a really, really simple, fun, beautiful stitch to make, and it makes for such a pretty sock cuff. Okay, so super easy, creates a really cool stitch. You can translate this. I think this stitch would look so pretty on a cowl ear warmer band. I don't know what the official name is, but it's not a full hat. It's just a little band that goes around to keep your ears warm. I think this would be so fantastic for that because it's a little bit thick. So I think it would just provide a lot of really good warmth. So yeah, you could totally use this stitch in other projects. It's been used in sweaters. It's just a really great stitch to have in your library. And so I was really excited to use it for November because I feel like it has a very harvest wheat stalky kind of appearance, and it just fits November really, really well. Just as a reminder, if you have not purchased Cuff Club yet, I'm going to put a link in the description below the video. If you're curious about what it is, if you want to get in on this, you can purchase it at any time. It is not a recurring monthly subscription. You pay one price and you basically get a new chart or charts. Sometimes there's more than one, every month delivered right to your inbox on the first of each month. So you can practice new techniques, learn new stitches, and have a whole library of fun patterns to make really cool socks. So I'll pop that link for Cuff Club in the description below the video. So now let's talk about the second chart page for November. And this is a Colorwork chart. I love doing Colorwork. Last year, Cuff Club was all about Colorwork. We did Colorwork every month, but this year I wanted to introduce some texture and cables and lace as well, so that you would have a library of those stitches too, just to have nice variety. You can combine them and it makes it really fun. In thinking about a November pattern, I really wanted to pull in some American Indian motifs. I am a Muskogee Creek Indian. I love American Indian art and design. I have a lot of it in my house, of course, since I am also American Indian. So I kind of wanted to pull in that feel of some of that really cool. I always think that November, harvest season, hibernation season, we're getting ready to go into the winter months. Like, I just feel like some of those motifs feel very, very late fall sliding into winter. So here we go. We've got these really cool, these to me resemble Thunderbirds. And that's kind of what I was going for, was that kind of Thunderbird look, because all the birds are migrating south now. So you see a lot of birds in the sky when you're out and about. Especially like on our walks, we've seen a lot of the bird migration already happening. And so I really loved that for November, that kind of representing. And then we've got this really cool arrow and then a repeat of the Thunderbirds down below. And the colors I chose, I love this dark, rich brown and red and the pink. It just feels very late fall, very November. But let me tell you, I'm going to talk about this brown because I am still mad about it. I do tend to hold on to petty grievances for years, so it's no surprise. I'm going to be mad about this for a very long time. But this particular brown yarn, I bought 2 skeins. I do not have a local yarn store. I have to drive a long ways to get to a really good one. So I order a lot of my yarn online when I need a specific color. I wanted this brown to be perfect because I was picturing this in my head. So I ended up ordering 2 different skeins of brown yarn because I wanted it to be the perfect shade of brown. So the first skein that I ordered was this Cascade Heritage. Heritage is a commercially dyed yarn. So this is a very uniform, even brown. It's really pretty, but it doesn't necessarily have like the depth of tone and color and variation that a hand-dyed tonal skein would have. So I ordered one of those too. I ordered a hand-dyed tonal skein of yarn. I can't show it to you because it is currently outside beyond the windows back there drying because I had to wash it and rinse it and wash it and rinse it and wash it and rinse it again. We'll talk about that. So 2 choices before me. And of course, when it came in, it was no brainer. Instantly, I was like, the hand-dyed tonal brown. That's the perfect brown. This brown, you can see the depth. You can see the way it glows. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dark brown. This is from Malabrigo. I started knitting with this yarn and my hands were just covered in dye. It was awful. Like, I mean, it looked like I had just been bonded out of the county jail. Like my fingertips going all down my fingers. I've never had dye come off in my hands like this before. This was nuts. Like it was sticky. I could feel it as I was knitting. The appropriate thing to do would have been to rip out what I had already knit. At this point, I had knit the cuff when this was happening. And then to unwind the cake back into a skein, rinse and wash it. And of course I didn't do that. I'd already started. I have the patience of a 5-year-old. When I'm excited to do something, I just want to do it right now. And I certainly wasn't about to go rip out everything I'd just done, unwind that cake and do all of that. I wanted to see this motif. I had it all charted out in Excel and I wanted to see it in real life and see what it looked like. So I just was like, screw it. We'll keep going. It was nasty. Like I couldn't touch anything. We have a white couch. Let me show you. Look at that. We have a white couch. So I had the cake of yarn sitting on a towel so it wouldn't touch my couch. Anytime that I wanted to get up and do something, I was like so careful not to touch anything, had to wash my hands and it still didn't come off. I mean, it was awful. And I was like, this is gonna bleed everywhere. But you remember last video, I had the bleeding issue with the purple yarn, and so I ordered the color catchers. And I was like, well, we're just gonna put these color catchers to the test. This is the weird thing. This is why science eludes me and why I am totally an English, like, creative person, because science, I just don't understand it. I soaked this sock. When I finished knitting it, I soaked this sock in my little tub with my soak wash. I put a color catcher in there. I kept my eye on it. I didn't see any brown in the water. And after 30 minutes, I pulled it out. That water was clear. There was nothing on the color catcher. I assumed the color catcher would just be like totally dark brown. It was like there was no bleeding at all, which I found so confusing because it was all over my hands. But great, we had no bleeding whatsoever. It was disgusting to knit with. It smelled like vinegar and I had brown dye all over my hands, but I had absolutely no bleeding. So then I rewound the yarn back into a skein and then rinsed it in my sink. That water was absolutely nasty. I soaked the skein in lukewarm water and I left it in there for like 2 hours and it was absolutely foul. That water was completely dark brown. Rinsed it out. I was still getting so much dye as I was rinsing it, so I went ahead and soaked it again, rinsed it again, repeated. I still never got all the dye off. Like, I just gave up and was like, I'm done. It is what it is. So it is currently on my back patio on a hanger drying, and we'll see. I'm gonna knit the second sock. We'll see if I get it all over my hands again. I got off a lot, so surely it's not. But that is the last time that I buy Malabrigo. I was like, this is not okay. It was so much dye. My hands were so foul. So I recommend not buying the Malabrigo yarn. I'm not even gonna list it in the description because I don't want that to happen to you. But if you do want a lovely dark brown, I would look for another dark brown tonal, hand-dyed if you want that kind of tonal look. But this Cascade Heritage, this is color number 5609. Cascade Heritage 5609, also a really beautiful, rich dark brown. So that's a good dark brown too, and it's very affordable. I think Cascade Heritage is like $11 or $12 for 400 yards. And the Malabrigo cost me $22. All right, so those are our 2 charts for Cuff Club for the month of November, and I really hope that you enjoy knitting these. It's been a full quarter now. We've had 4 months of Cuff Club, and so these are November. We've got these lovely texture chart, the Colorwork chart. Here's October. We had that beautiful little pop of lace for October. Oh, they look so good. This is what I love about Cuff Club. I love when it starts to grow, when we've done several months and we can start like seeing all of the charts together. This was September. Really beautiful cabled chart. I just dropped one. And then August, we had 2 charts as well, and I knit a lot of them. I knit like 2 of each one. We had this really beautiful little twist chart. And then we had the beautiful Colorwork tulips. These look like tulips to me. And then I did one where it was tulips all the way down. So yeah, pick up the one that I dropped. We have a beautiful collection of socks for the first quarter of Cuff Club Volume 2. I'm really, really happy with how all of these are turning out. And I love the mix of texture and cables and lace with color work. I love the variety this year. It's just so much fun. So anyways, thank you for joining me this week to look at the November Cuff Club charts. I really hope those 2 tutorials are helpful for you. The one that I showed you for how to do this really cool dip stitch. And then I hope you check out Earth Tones Girl's amazing tutorial for helical knitting to create really cool fabric. That's what's so fun about Cuff Club, is that the designs, even when they're color work, you know, they're usually limited to the top unless you choose to carry them all the way down. And that gives you room to really experiment and learn some new techniques for the body of the sock. You can do plain stockinette if you want. You can do helical knitting. You can do ribbing. And then of course you can also carry the motif all the way down if you want to. So a lot of options, a lot of fun. I'll be back in a little bit with a new sock set. I'm very excited about it. This is a good one. So November, we're gonna have an amazing sock set coming out. that I think will make for good gift knitting for Christmas and the holidays. If you do gift knitting, I do not. I only knit for myself. But whether you're knitting for yourself or whether you're knitting gifts, I think this is going to be a really fun sock set, and I'm really, really excited to show it to you. So anyways, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.